Alright guys, I thought I'd do a quick video with all the crap going on about Le Mans Ultimate and being sold and all of that stuff. And while a lot of it's speculation, there's a lot of speculation about what's going to happen, right? The fact is, nobody really knows. So what I'm going to do is just focus on why I think that people should start to give this a bit of a look in. And you have to remember, there's a lot of uncertainty kind of surrounding the title. Well, when I say uncertainty, right, what I mean is there's a lot of misinformation being put out there, a lot of doomsday stories and all sorts of stuff. The fact of the matter is, we deal with facts, right? When this game was released, the guys at Studio 397 said that it had done more sales in a couple of days than they expected for the entire month, or something to that effect, right? The online player base has slowly crept up over time. You can check it out on the Steam charts and all of that, so it's headed in the right direction. Now overall, what I've done, I was in the middle of doing just a little start of a Le Mans 24 hour here in the Ferrari, and decided to just pause it like 15 minutes in, just to stop and just appreciate kind of how good this game actually is. While it's true that it has got some bugs still in it, I really think though that, you know, they're being ironed out. They're not as bad as what people make out. I mean, they're annoying for sure, but the team are, you know, tirelessly working towards getting them fixed, and we see that daily, particularly on the Discord forum. They're very engaged. But let's go through it kind of you know, from top to bottom, right? So I think Le Mans Ultimate, it's kind of redefining endurance racing for us sim racers, right? Up until now, like, I've been an ACC kind of guy. I then jumped into LMU when it was released, then kind of put it on the shelf for a couple of months, well, maybe 5 months, because you know, a couple of bugs, and you know, the thing online was, in my opinion, not right with the anti-lock braking assist and all of that. But look, the long and short of it is, there was loads of reasons why I could, and shelved it for that amount of time. And I jumped in then to iRacing. I couldn't go back to ACC. ACC felt very robotic, very harsh by comparison. It's almost like after you've sampled Le Mans Ultimate and how it drives, right, just from a driving physics perspective, it's difficult to go back to pretty much anything else. I mean, it is easily the best driving experience I've had in a sim racing title ever. It is that good. It is that good. So you can see here, like, you know, what it has going for it. Like, so the WEC license, and you know what they're saying. You've got like the actual Le Mans cars. You know, both the hypercar class, the LMP2s are on this grid as well, as are the GTEs. So essentially, like a full grid in Le Mans, and you can get to drive it. And also, you know, we've raced online on special events at Le Mans and the LMP. Like, back when the game was released, it was like 2.4 hour of Le Mans where it was a 10x multiplier. It was brilliant. I mean, like, going through the night at this track, the lighting effects of the game. I mean, the graphics are absolutely stunning. I think, you know, they've got the correct color palette and everything. So it's all great. It captures the atmosphere, I suppose, as well, right? So it's that light change from, you know, dusk through the night into dawn, and then from dawn into mid-afternoon, and you know, the weather effects and everything are captured equally as well. So again, the immersion is there. The driving physics are second to none. Like, the tire model in this is almost perfect, I would say. Like, it doesn't need much tweaking. It just feels right, you know. It's like there's a bit of slip, but if you push it too much, particularly in a hypercar, given the speed and the downforce they generate, that if it does go, it's probably going to go in a big way. And you can see there, it kind of got starting to lose grip, being overtaken, right? But the detail, I guess, in the models as well is another thing that has to be called out, right? So the cars look absolutely fantastic. Let's go on board. So this is on board at me as I run wide. But like, just looking at the detail off the back of the car, the graphics, the carbon fibre rear fin, and the little shine off it, the noise of the hybrid regenerating. You can hear then the hybrid kicking in, and it's just absolutely Like it's superb. It's superb. Let's have a look actually at some of the other models. Let's go back through the grid. Let's have a look at someone else. So on board the Cadillac, I mean, all of the cars are just, the models are just absolutely, like, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They look fantastic. They really do. So, you know, with the tracks then in the game, like, they're all laser scanned. You've got Le Mans, Spa, Bahrain, you've got all the tracks from the World Endurance Championship. We are waiting on Brazil, I think, and there's probably one other one that I'm forgetting, but, you know, whatever. But yeah, the track selection is great. The cars are just, everything is just right. Then when you get into comparing this then to other sim titles like iRacing, right? So that's where I've been for the last couple of months, right? And as I said, I won't go back to ACC. It just doesn't feel right after being in something like this. And then when I went back to iRacing, it's kind of like, okay, it felt a bit similar, but still not right. The tyre model in iRacing is just absolute dog shit. There's no other way to say it. Like, and I know I'm going to piss people off by saying that, but, you know, I'm not going to spoof. I mean, it's the truth. The truth requires no explanation. If you've driven a car on track before, you'll understand immediately what I'm talking about. But it has this weird thing where the rear or the front loses grip. It's like the surface of the tyre overheats quickly, and once it does that, that whole axle just loses grip, like ridiculously so. Add into the fact, and I stand to be corrected here, but I'm pretty certain that iRacing does not have flat spotting on their tyre, which, you know, for a racing sim, I mean, come on, you know, you have to have it. And I'm an iRacing subscriber, by the way, right? But I have to be honest when, you know, if something is not right with a sim, or, you know, I have to call it out as it is. Otherwise, like, I'm not being fair and I'm being biased. But yeah, iRacing is, you know, and the force feedback is crap. I mean, it's just so slow. I mean, it's fun when you're playing it. The competition online is pretty good, but it's just lacking in so many areas as a simulator compared to Le Mans Ultimate. Now, iRacing has a lot of other stuff going for, like the online competition system, but that's about it. Like, I mean, if you look at it as a driving game, sim, whatever, there's no competition. Like, LMU is streets ahead of everything else. It's just a shame that there's other teething issues with LMU, and then all of the latest crap about the sale and whatever. You know, it's a bit unfortunate. One thing about LMU is the accessibility to new players. They do, much to my initial displeasure, but they do have assists allowed in the lower level online ranked races. But thankfully for the more hardcore sim racer, they've adjusted the advantage that used to be there. Like, I mean, it used to be a clear advantage where if you ran, like, let's say the ABS assist, if you were a skilled driver, you could take huge amounts of lap time off, which went against the spirit of what the thing was trying to achieve. The whole idea was it was allowing new players who are not, let's say, as skilled at sim racing and avoiding them locking the wheel and causing chaos. So it's accessible, and I know a few people as well that also play on controllers. So, you know, everyone can really get into it. And I suppose the community, like the Discord community, is among the best. I think, you know, it can get a bit heated at times. There's a bit of passion, but there's not really the element of typical fanboy kind of following that attracts a sim. Like, I mean, some of the things that you could talk about as problems on the LMU Discord, and people are like, yeah, it is a problem, we acknowledge it. And the development team and all of the staff at Studio 397, like the community managers and stuff like that, and the PR guys, they do a phenomenal job. Like, I just see them responding to messages at all hours of the day, even outside of working hours, like weekends, midnight, 1 a.m, you name it, they're replying to people. And you can sense that it's I almost get the impression it's a passion project for them. They're part of something. They want to see it succeed, and it's kind of like a proudness. I feel that's what I feel that they feel, if you get me. The patches as well for the game, like, yeah, as we mentioned, there's a couple of teething issues, and the patches are kind of coming quick and fast. And not only that, but they'll also, if it's a severe thing, like there was recently like a stuttering issue, they released a public beta to tie people over, and then the actual main patch was dropped out today. So, you know, that was all done over the course of like, you know, 4 days. So, in my opinion, right, if you are on the fence, or if you have been, let's say, you know, let's say you've bought LMU, or you've been considering LMU, but you haven't because of the, you know, the couple of issues that you heard in the early access. Like, some of the issues are there, but it's not as bad as it was at the start, nowhere near. And if you're worried about the whole Motorsport Games saga, I wouldn't be, honestly. The game is too good to be left, right. So even if there is sometimes some kind of strategic partnership struck up, I'd be almost confident that this game and the team behind this game will weather that, because it's too good to not continue, right? And from what I understand, I mean, the player base is continuing to grow and so on. So I'd be confident enough of putting some money into this game. I wouldn't worry about the studio going out of business or anything like that. And remember, if you look at the wording, it's strategic partnership to look at bringing this to a console. And that makes sense, because if you think if LMU needs to have, or Studio 397 or Motorsport Games, whoever it is, needs to have more cash flow, and the simplest way to cash is a console game release, right? Now, when I read strategic partnership, I'm thinking, do they partner with one of the big console studios, or maybe even like Microsoft, do an Xbox collaboration where Microsoft take a huge stake in Motorsport Games in return for putting up the cash to get it onto console, which makes them cash positive again, and yada yada. You know, there's a lot of good things that can happen to Motorsport Games and Studio 397 aside from this, right? There's a lot of speculation. I'm not going to go into it, but speculation from one particular person that iRacing is taking LMU, and, you know, it's just absolute nonsense. Like, while it may happen, it's a possibility. Why would iRacing bother, right? They have their game engine that they've got huge amounts of content on. They have enough subscribers, it works, they're in their own little bubble. I don't see them changing platform, particularly to a platform like this that they may lack the development knowledge on. So that would be an operational risk from their perspective. Not saying it will never happen, but it's just not really something that would come into my mind unless they went for the license. But then, are they going to really buy an entire company just for a license? Probably not. I mean, like why would you do that? Think about iRacing as well. Their core user base is in the US, right? What do they have? Well, they have IMSA, WEC, and you know, predominantly the US market. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, but I don't see it as being an obvious one. But yeah, look, I mean, as I said, there's a lot of maybe if, but you have to look past all that. As an actual driving sim, this is, you know, like I said, easily the best I've driven. And I've done countless races online. Like, yes, I've had a few crashes here and there. The game, just warn you, tends not to like overclocked hardware. It tends to be like overclocked CPUs, RAM, GPUs. But if you can just bring your clock speeds back to regular, you don't really lose frame rate, to be honest with you. Like, you don't, like, I mean, at the moment, like, I'm getting like 130 to 150 frames now, but when I was at a full grid at Le Mans with all the AI and stuff, I was getting about like 80 frames per second or so. And my settings, by the way, are maxed out, like ultra on pretty much everything except shadows and special effects, which I think are on high, something like that. But everything is pretty much maxed, whatever the thing can manage. But yeah, guys, like I say, if you're thinking about this, or you're looking to get into LMU or try something different, you know, do it. Don't. I rarely advise people to do things, right. And actually, just before I go any further, right, just check that. Like, look at that. A full grid, like 63 cars or something like that. Like, the thing is full. Like, I selected full grid, so if you have the hypers, got the LMPs. Let's actually just run through the grid. So let us start from Baxter, Will Stevens, Chaminade, Kevin Est, Alexander, El Mirko Bartolotti, Mike Conway. I mean, let me just change the view here, if I can. Yeah, let's go through. I mean, just looking at this grid, just absolutely incredible. Like the Lambo, the Toyota's in there. We have the Ferrari of Kubica, the Alpine. I mean, just absolutely incredible. And this is the special feeling you kind of get. Like, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but when you're on a grid and like look at all these cars. Like, holy shit! Like, it's just it is pretty cool. It really is. And let's change the view so we can go look at this. Look at that grid. Like, it is just it's cool. And you can imagine then this at night. And then I know they've recently brought in the option to do mid-race saves as well, which I don't know if they're working exactly as intended. Like, some people have reported mixed results. So check out the Discord and check out the forum just to make sure that everything is above board. And they've also brought this co-op thing, so you can race against the AI in an endurance race like this, and you can see all the cars just pulling out there. But yeah, you can race with a friend against an entire AI grid, and it will essentially, you'll be able to save mid-race, swap driver to your friend, and continue on, and they'll pick up from the pit stop and set their own difficulty too, I believe, because not everyone is like an alien, and you may have different skill levels within your driver team, let's say. But yeah, I get the concern of everyone, right? I understand, like, they see the news headlines like, oh, Motorsport Games is being sold and this company is taking it and that company is taking it. My advice would be, and again, this is just my opinion, right? So take it with a pinch of salt. I feel that game as good as this, right, obviously needs a bit of, it needs people playing it to justify itself to survive in the business world, right? And if people are on the fence and wanted to crash into oblivion because they've had prior hatred towards Motorsport Games, that's regrettable. And I understand the hatred, by the way, because I was one of them when they started snapping up the licenses and even worse, pissing them away by not doing anything with them. That really pissed me off, because nobody else could enjoy the licenses while Motorsport Games just sat on them. But they have had a management overhaul. They have a new CEO now the last while, Stephen Hood, who is making some... It seems to be making the right decisions and tough decisions, so they had layoffs recently, and that's an unfortunate thing that some of these CEOs have to do to get cash and profitability back in check. But what I'm saying is, and where I'm going with all this, from the outside looking in, just realise that progress is being made from the game's perspective, and progress and actions are being made from the company's perspective, like with cost-cutting and the difficult but necessary steps that are often needed, right? The press release as well, when it said the company might be up for sale or whatever, that could be to, like I said, become a subsidiary of a larger console publisher, perhaps. Like if you look at Kunos, the way that is, big crash. Well, that explains why there's a few hypercars out of the race. But yeah, if you look at Kunos, where they were, so Digital Brothers is the parent there, isn't it? So it could be a situation like that where they get bought by a larger publisher. The company Kunos, in the case of AC and Assetto Corsa, ACC and AC, still exist, but they've got that capital injection, and they've got that now. Those synergies, I guess, between publishers, so that's why ACC and AC and all is on it's multi-platform basically, right? So I think the more I think about it, I guess that might be the preferred outcome for Motorsport Games or Studio 397. But who knows? Who knows? That would make the most sense. They get partnered with a publisher. that gets them access to the console market. Cash injection comes in, the game development then continues on more and more, and they can maybe expand the team and continue the great content, and that then would potentially free up the cash then to start expanding into the ELMS and Asian Le Mans, and you know, who knows. But I will say, guys, like, don't be nervous, don't be worried. The game is fantastic. There is a few little bugs here and there still, but the development team, like I say, are very active. And the guys on Discord, the Studio 397 team on Discord, are beyond helpful. They're, you know, and I suppose at a personal level, I want them to succeed because I can see the effort going in from the community management side of things, like the bit that I do see and the bit that the community sees. So I can only imagine the work ethic behind the scenes. And I will say one final thing about them. There was a update pushed on, I'm going to say it was Friday night at 8 p.m, I think, which was a Friday night. I think it was Friday night at 8 p.m, which was that public share branch to fix the little stutters that people were having. And that was done ahead of the special weekend event they had around the Alpine Beyond Le Bleu event. And to see on a Friday night, the guys being aware that, you know, we have a special event coming up, you're going to have a lot of players, and they were thinking about the players, just getting that update pushed out like late on a Friday. And, you know, it was on a public beta branch, but it's still always risky because, you know, anything can happen, of course. But yeah, like I say, it was just good to see. Yeah, really good to see. And then there's the GTEs. It'd be rude not to give the GTEs a look in. Yeah, I mean, look at the model. So this is the 488 GTE. Just looking at the model of the car itself, like the textures and all sorts of. It's just, yeah, it's really cool. And there's the new Isotta Fraschini hypercar that was added into the game. That was a couple of weeks now, I think. But yeah, I mean, oh, there's a Lamborghini trying to come through the GTE field. Must have got caught up in a bit of a mess, yep. But anyway, guys, look, we leave it there. Yeah, I don't have much more to say on it. What I will advise, though, is just, you know, anything you hear on YouTube or watching videos and stuff about the doomsday prediction about Motorsport Games and Studio 397, just take a step back, realise that a lot of it is being done for clicks. I'm not saying there's no truth in some of it, but the intent is sensationalism. That look, it's news, yeah. It's the way people operate. They see something they'll have to be drawn in, and even the title of this video, I'm sure, will have something to draw people in. But you know, what I like to try and do is just give a bit of a realistic opinion on it. And like I've been investing in companies, you know, as a retail trader in my spare time. Oh, that's a bit. Oh, someone's on their side. Yeah, so bit of a mess. Yeah, but I've been investing in companies for, you know, the best part of 15 years. So I've seen this stuff before where companies go into financial difficulty, and even companies that are in that difficulty, right, and they get sold or they do get spun off. Never do you see a profitable profit center go to waste. And if we assume that Studio 397 with Le Mans Ultimate, with the correct headcount and with the correct game and development and stuff, if that is a profitable cost center, when all that's stripped out, this will survive, I can guarantee it. Someone will buy it, absolutely. If, as I said, Motorsport Games can't get that strategic partner, I think this title and the team around this title, you know, if I had a software conglomerate company, I would be all over this because the potential is clear. But yeah. And you know, you think, like, what alternatives are there? Like, I've heard, I was watching a video recently where the guy was saying that, you know, it's all doom and gloom for LMU because where will people have the time, because they're busy playing iRacing and they're busy playing like Gran Turismo and whatever. So where does LMU fit in? And that's completely missing the point. LMU replaces that for the correct type of player. So if you're into like an online game that has, you know, a class-leading physics, so if physics and driving feel and so on is your thing, and you like endurance, and you're actually a WEC fan, which many people in endurance will be, then you would retire the other titles for this. And you know, I'm speaking as someone who's in the middle of doing that. Like, so I'm kind of putting my iRacing steering wheel down. The ACC almost dropped as soon as this game came out, and I'm also a big AMS2 fan. But truth be told, I'm kind of bored waiting on I mean, I say I'm bored waiting on the new update. Like, I do have access to the beta version, but yeah, I mean, there's no online competition there, really, is there? Like, I know LFM are trying to do a few bits, but ultimately, what draws you is the online competition. And the good news about LMU is that the online player base are actually really good. You know, we're starting to get enough players now where we have like multiple splits in most of the races, and everyone so far has been racing very fairly. Like, there's no intentional wreckers. Well, no, there is intentional wreckers, right? But they're dealt with. They get bans straight away. There's like a report system in place. And at the moment, like that report system and that whole thing is free of charge. So, you know, get on, have fun. There's no shenanigans because of that reporting system and the bans, like I said. So it's it's a good place to be. And you know, everyone's good, clean racers for the most part, competent. They're all quick guys. And like I said, the community, the Discord server, if you have any issues, everyone is more than happy to, you know, get involved and try fixes for potential bugs and give advice on setups and everything. It's just it's good. It's good to be a part of that. It's yeah. You don't get that too often. You really don't. But yeah, look, anyway, I'm not going to keep waffling on. Give the game a look. I don't think you'll regret it. I really don't. But yeah, leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching as always, and yeah, see you on track, hopefully.